I was getting a little bit frustrated with stuff like this, putting this stuff in, and because it's always a real pain. And the deck lid rubber is just fighting me, so I just decided to do some polishing on this thing. I was going to wait till after I had the glass in because it makes the interior a mess, and then I'm working in a dirty place while I'm trying to do the headliner, but oh well, I guess I'll just go ahead and polish it. And I wanted to give you guys a quick glimpse of this finish. This is pretty amazing. All right. I was going to tell you guys a little bit about menzerna and why I switched to them versus I was just frustrated with 3M stuff. I'd been using it for years, and it just seemed to go over the finish and not cut into it. And so what menzerna was more of a polish, and one of the things that I really like about it is it has no oils. So I'm going to try and explain that to you. So usually when you use 3M, you use water sometimes, but you use your squirt bottle, and I don't get a lot back from using the squirt bottle with 3M, but with menzerna, this stuff, it just you put a little dot on your pad, and you do some for a while, and you tip it over and you look at your pad and it's all white because the stuff's all just stays on the pad. It doesn't fling over everywhere. Hardly anything ends up on me, and it doesn't. I've been mostly what you see here on this hood from me polishing the roof is the pad. It's just tearing the cheap pad because I'm doing the corners in here, and then I'm just tearing them up. So, but there's hardly any polish, where 3M I'd have half my polish would come right off of my buffing pad. But the other thing that's really cool is, so you start to dry out, and that's when your polish, when your buffing starts to really do its thing. You'll be going over it, and then as soon as you start to dry out, you go back over that, and then that final where it's drying out the pad is when it's doing that polishing on the finish. So and then when it dries out all the way, the buffer start bouncing, or it'll start having problems. You just can't keep going dry. So usually you re-wet it with water at that point, right? Well, when you re-wet the menzerna with water, all the polish re-wets really nice, and you can just keep going. You don't need to put any more polish on. I mean, you can just keep going with the same polish that's on that pad for a long time. So you're really using about a third or less of the material of the menzerna polish than you are the 3M, and I don't know, I guess they're about the same price. I thought menzerna was a little bit less on eBay. There's places that sell it on there. So let's look at this finish a little more as we're talking. But I just did the roof in the deck lid. The deck lid, you can't really see. Let me see if I can get some light on here. You can't really see what it was, and boy, it sure does hide the waves in that when you get that buffing done. Just that deepness in the shine just really takes away any of the flaws. So again, like you said, when you guys are sitting there picking apart every little thing, you look at that across the back, and literally there is just no orange peel, no the dirt just buffs right out of this stuff. There's no haze, there's no clouds, there's nothing. And it's partly menzerna and partly the clear that I used on this. It's that, again, that inexpensive clear, that it's a really high-end One thing I did notice before I've used this clear, I was just experimenting with it, and I think most of the time I've polished like the next day or the day after. Now it's been since I'm thinking Monday and it's Saturday, so it's a little harder to polish this stuff when it's not so fresh, which is common when you're talking about really good clears. The really good clears, I've heard from other guys that use them, that they need to be polished within, they say within 3 days, or you can't get the clouds out. But I didn't have much problem getting the clouds out with the menzerna. I mean, look at those lights. You can just, it looks just like you're looking at them. It's hard to, that's crazy. But that's, and in fluorescent light, you can see anything. The shadow of the bottle there, just perfect. But anyway, a couple of ways in it, but not much. I mean, you'd have to really be picky to see them. But anyway, so this is the 61 bug, just kind of giving you guys a little heads up on polishing. If you are experimenting and you're going to try menzerna, definitely have a squirt bottle of water. You have to have it because the stuff stays on the pad. It doesn't fling off, so you have to keep wetting it, but it just goes forever. So plan on not getting, you could probably get one of those really these little 250 mil kits they have. I've seen these on eBay. That's what I experimented with first. But if I were you, I would just go for the 4,000 big bottle and the 1,000. I think it's 1,000, or was it 100? Let me see. Make sure. It's one. Let me pause this for 1 second. Yes, it's 1,000 menzerna. That's I think their heaviest cut, which I would highly recommend. I don't know, just start with that one. You can actually polish with this and not use the 4,000 and pretty much get an acceptable finish with. And this, again, this has no glazing, no hand glaze on this at all. So this is just, so a lot of times you put the hand glaze on and that stuff actually will wash off, and then all of a sudden you can see all your scratches and swirls and all that stuff comes back. This has nothing on it, and there's absolutely no sand marks in it. And the funny thing is I actually skipped over the 1,000 because I didn't see any tracers in the first part I did, except for I got one like right in the middle of the roof, and it's gonna stay there because it's not that bad. So, but there's hardly any of those. There's no tracers. I skipped right over using and it's like I said, that's part is the clear that I'm using, because this clear buff's really good. But I had none of those little tracers, little swirls, from the DA. Just so if you guys don't know what that is. Anyway, that's the 61 bug. A little bit about menzerna and polishing.